A win for the Washington Wizards tonight at home against the Milwaukee Bucks would mean the difference between longevity in the playoffs or not. They're hoping to avoid a possible first-round matchup against either Miami or Indiana. When it comes to the playoffs, positioning is key and every game counts. DC Hoops action, I got you covered.
You know, we got, as the game went along in the first half, we kind of became an up and down game, and I told them at halftime that we got to get back to 5 guys pressure, and I thought we came out in the third quarter and from a defensive standpoint turned it around again. So what are they, 52, I think, 55-52 at half, and I think they score 39 in the second. And our defensive pressure was really good. No, yeah, it was. We had good ball movement again. And listen, when we can go 25-10 or whatever the assist turnover, that's how we got it. That's us. Ball movement, player movement. A lot of guys, being involved. And I thought our bench came in was solid for us again tonight, which is going to be important. Hey, as soon as you start trying to figure out you want to play a certain team, it never happens. So no, whoever we're going to play, hey, it's going to be a tough matchup. Well, I think it's important for our players, number one, and then for the town too. There's no question. This is a town that I think hasn't seen that in a while, and they've shown great support through some down times. So it's good for everybody. It's good for these guys, to come in here and be on a positive thing, making the playoffs. Tonight secures us over 500 for the year, and just we got a lot of work still to do. But we're making some good steps, and we got steps ahead of us this year with the rest of this season yet.
To me, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna let the coaches figure out the matchups or whatever. But whoever we play, it's gonna be tough. It's not gonna be easy, no matter who we're playing. So whoever we match up against, we gotta be ready.
Definitely a challenge on Monday against Miami. So it's gonna be like a playoff game right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a great team, first, second seed in the East, and we got to be ready. Last time they came here, we beat them pretty bad, so it's definitely going to be in the back of their minds, and they're going to come out aggressive from the start to finish. So we got to be ready.
You guys have been even against you always.
You're always on edge when you play a team like that. Whenever you have a great team like that, Indiana, Miami's, OKC, like all the teams like that, you're always ready to go. I think our focus level is always high, and we always feel as though we have something to prove.
But we just play defense that third quarter. That's how we got to play for 48 minutes and get teams out of their rhythm. The first half we got a little big lead and then got back into a rhythm and made it a 3-point game at halftime.
Bigger picture, you guys maintained 6. Charlotte did win, but you guys stay ahead of them. And right now, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, it's back and forth. You got to try to win the last 2 games. Next game is Miami. It's going to be a tough one. And that's how you set your destiny. We let a game slip away against them, and now since they lost the other night, we got to keep winning. We know we go to a tie, they get a spot, and we don't. So we're just trying to go out and play the right way and finish and keep our head going the right way and playing the right way going into the playoffs.
John, this is like one of the biggest seasons for you guys since '97. Ball is back in DC. How does it feel to be a part of that?
Oh, it's great. I've been here since 2010 when the tough times came, when we won 20-some games 2-3 years in a row. And it was tough, but I think that the time came in the right way. The organization did a great job of picking people and going to get veteran guys. And I think all the young guys that have been here did a great job of developing our game each year.
The 3-point shot hasn't really been there the last 3 games, but you guys at least knocked down a few tonight. What was the difference tonight?
I don't know. I think their opening shots, they're good looks. And like I said, I don't care if they missed 30 in a row. Those are my teammates, and that's what they've been doing for me all season. And my job as a point guard to keep finding those guys. And like I said, even though we're not making shots, the way we've been playing defense the last 2 games is the way you got to play when you're not making shots, because you still find a way to win games, and hopefully you'll make a big shot down the stretch.
How do you think today's win is preparing you for the playoffs?
I think every win is. Ever since that Charlotte loss, we kind of regrouped ourselves as a team and got back to committing ourselves to playing defense when you're not making shots. And I think the last 3 or 4 games we probably 5 for 50, 10 for 50, something like that from 3-point line. So defense win games in this league, and that's what happened every night. You're not going to have a great shooting night, so you got to find other ways to impact the game.
All well that ends well here in the nation's capital as the Washington Wizards defeat the Milwaukee Bucks 104-91. For the Roundball Report, I'm Mykell Ramos. Back to you all in the studio.
Great job, Mykell, and congrats to the Washington Wizards for holding on to that 6th spot tonight and beating the Miami Heat team. And we're joined here in the studio with Coach Jimmy Fly, and via phone we have the great Lexter Taylor. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hey. And Lexter, well, we'll go to the victor first. Coach Fly, last week, before we go on to the NBA, we had the NCAA predictions, and it was great because we taped on Monday. The men's game was going to be Monday night. The women's game was going to be Tuesday night. And we had you and Lexter make the predictions. And Lexter, you were 2 for 2, right?
I picked UConn to win the championship, and I got it right. You know, sometimes
he got the women right.
Both times.
Sometimes you get them right, sometimes you get them wrong.
Are you talking about the men or the women, Lexter? Which one did you get right?
You don't bet against Gino, so I am going to say the women. I did pick the women.
Okay.
You know, I'm proud of that because you know the odds were against UConn, Notre Dame. You know, powerhouse squad. UConn blew them out of the water. So, you know, you get some right, you get some wrong. I mean, hey, I tried to go with the freshmen. You know, that's never been done. All freshmen starting 5 trying to win a national championship. Kentucky just couldn't do it. They choked under pressure, you know, and UConn, you know, you tip your hat because they did a great job and they finished, you know, they finished the deal. Coach Jimmy Fly was right.
That's the way
That's worth coming all the way down here from Baltimore.
Yes, it's on tape. You were right. He said it.
So I guess we can move on to NBA from there.
He gave in quickly. He didn't fight.
Now, Lexter and Coach Fly, what do you think about? Can the league do anything about Miami throwing the first spot? I mean, they're here. They announced before. They didn't announce until right before tip-off that they were not going to play LeBron James or Chris Bosh in a game where they were a half a game behind the number 1 spot in the East, and they sat down the franchise.
Well, as a Miami fan, I'm not upset, but go ahead.
My deal was, I really believe, I thought Indiana was trying to throw the game, to be honest with you. I mean, they were losing to teams that you never even heard of in the NBA.
So
and all of a sudden,
everybody scared of the Wizards, Lexter? Is everybody scared of the Wizards in the playoffs?
No, I think when you're sitting at the number 1 spot, you got to worry. If you're in Miami's case, especially, you got to worry about Brooklyn at the 5th spot. They're a team that Miami hasn't beaten all year, you know, and they're a team filled with veterans, a team that used to be the Boston Celtics. You know, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. You never know with those guys in a 7-game series. They've played great basketball over the years. They've won a championship, so they know how to win. So, Miami probably was trying to avoid them, and they were avoiding the Chicago Bulls. Chicago historically has always physically beat up the Miami Heat, and they were trying to avoid them.
Lexter don't want to stop talking.
Now, Coach Fly, tell them why they were really trying to avoid the number 1 slot.
They don't want to play the Wizards in the first round in that 2-7 game. Gortat and a healthy Nene, and he looked real healthy tonight. The Wizards shot at halftime, they were like at 63% from the 3-point line, and they were up 36 when I came into the studio going into the 4th quarter, so they should have won that game easily. But, you know, the playoffs is all about matchups. I think Miami's a tired team. I think LeBron's been carrying a heavy load without Wade. He's missed 30 games on the season. Bosh doesn't really rebound, so a lot goes on the shoulders of LeBron James, and you can take advantage of that in a 7-game series.
And Lexter, as the way that Indiana's been playing, is it a foregone conclusion that the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Indiana and Miami, or does teams like Brooklyn, Chicago, even a Wizards team stand a chance to make some noise?
Well, I really believe that Indiana, you know, the last 2-3 weeks we saw an Indiana team that has been inconsistent. They haven't really gelled since they made that trade, and getting Evan Turner. I really believe that Indiana is more vulnerable to lose, you know, to Brooklyn or to Chicago. And they might even lose to Atlanta in the first round. I mean, who knows? I mean, but I think they haven't established themselves. Miami has already won championships already. You know, I mean, people need to consider that. They've already won 3 Eastern Conference championships. They won 2 NBA Finals. So I don't really think it matters where they are seated because I think they'll be able to turn it on when they need to.
And go ahead, Nikki.
And I agree, being a Miami fan. I think they will do well with whomever they match up against. I do agree with Coach Fly, though, the matchup with Miami and the Wizards is tough because you don't have Bosh, who's really strong down there. And then when you do have Nene, who is in the game, he's rebounding, he's passing, he's shooting. He's like all over the place when you have a healthy Nene. So I do think that they set LeBron and them tonight to lose tonight for a reason. I believe that. I'm not upset with it. But I agree with you. I'm not mad,
Well,
though.
the other thing, they have a combo power forward in Shane Battier and Haslam. You know, they're both old as dirt. And Battier, you can take advantage of, but most teams in the past have gone small ball to match up. You can't go small ball. You got to go supersize and pound them inside. The other thing right now, though, Chicago losing over the weekend hurt them because they had control of the 3 seed. Now they fell down to the 4 seed. And now they're looking at a 4-5 matchup with Brooklyn, Chicago. See, I'd rather have that split. If Chicago was at the 3 seed, I would say there's a good chance of Miami and Indiana losing before the Eastern Conference Finals. But those two knocking each other out and only one left standing, it's going to be much more difficult to deal with Indiana and Miami going forward.
And speaking about difficult, I mean, without trying to sound like a homer, with Al Harrington getting his legs back, with Nene being healthy, the other guys getting the minutes, Martell Webster being healthy, Arisa getting healthy, and having Andre Miller and John Wall, we were talking, Coach Fly, he'll get a chance to get some rest because I think his legs are a little tired. He's the only one that's logged 82 games. They are a dangerous matchup. But Coach Fly, talk about what you said in the green room. What's going to be the key is John Wall being the facilitator instead of trying to be the man come playoff time.
Tonight he didn't score until late in the 3rd quarter. He had 12 assists, no points. When if he's getting his 15 points, getting 12, 13 assists, and getting everybody involved, and they're knocking down that 3 ball, having Nene back to force the inside-out game and open up those 3-point shooters is huge. The Wizards, to me, they're a wild card team because they have 5, 6, 7 guys with playoff experience. You say, well, they're a young team. They are in the backcourt, but not the rest of the team. You got Ariza played, won a title with the Lakers. You know, Gortat played in the NBA Finals with Orlando. So you got guys that are playoff battle tested. And
Nene went to the Western Conference Finals.
And Miller. So you got a bunch of guys, and if they can bring Wall and Beal through the intensity level that they're going to have to bring in the playoffs because it becomes half-court basketball after Wednesday.
I disagree, Andrew.
Of course,
that's right. State your case, Lexter.
I mean, the Wizards, they really do have a good team. I will agree with the coach with that. But the playoff experience that the Wizards players have, none of those guys, with the exception of Ariza, has won a championship. All those guys have been, you know, doormats, you know, to loss in the playoffs. You know, they don't have a history of success in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think you can throw that out the window. This is their first time making the playoffs. So it's gonna be tough because they have to match the intensity of a team that's experienced. They might surprise, you know, they'll probably beat Toronto, you know, because Toronto, this is all new for Toronto. So it's like Toronto and Washington, you know, both of them kind of growing their teeth in that playoff series if they meet in the first round. But the big issue is if they can get past that first round opponent, are they going to be able to beat Miami? Miami has logged a lot of playoff minutes. They have a lot of playoff success. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, I mean, they have a history.
All right,
of success.
LT, we got to move. We got to move it out west. What's your predictions for out west, Coach?
Not the Lakers. Oh, you're 0 for 2.
Isn't that? We're not talking D League. We're talking NBA playoffs.
We're talking NBA.
Well, San Antonio, I love the way they play. They're experienced. They got the best coach in the NBA, I think, in Popovich. Oklahoma City, I've said it before, I think is the only team that can beat them in a 7-game series. But Oklahoma City is going to have their hands full with Dallas if they face them in the first round because Dallas has beaten them a couple times in the regular season, and matchups. So it's matchups and injuries.
Yes.
You got to go series by series because if somebody goes down like Westbrook, all bets are off.
And Lexter, what about the new kings of the Staples Center, the Clippers? Do you think they have a legitimate chance to win in the West?
No, they're not going to win the West. They don't have the right uniforms. Just let's go ahead and put that out there.
Clearly,
I
we
mean,
can't
it's
go with his
good.
predictions.
They're winning, but they're not going to win.
Well, Lexter, I'm proud of you, buddy. You didn't show your face in the place. And actually, the picture we had of you was circa 50 pounds ago, so it's not a good look. But you did come on. We appreciate it, buddy. Better luck next year.
Next year.
Hey, I'm picking
we'll
the
see.
all your
Spurs.
teams.
And
I'm
we'll
picking
see.
the Spurs. I'm picking the Spurs and the Heat. Spurs and the Heat.
All right. Great job, Coach Fly. To the victor goes the spoils.